Some big development. The State Bank of India has withdrawn its controversial anti-women circular on recruitments. SBI has in fact issued a statement saying that they recently reviewed various standards for recruitment, reviewed norms for pregnant women candidates. Revised guidelines were intended to provide clarity. Revised norms interpreted as discriminatory against women. And for more on this, let me go straight across to my colleague Ketan, who's joining me from the newsroom. Ketan, can you take us through this, the withdrawal? What has the SBI said while withdrawing this controversial circular, and also a background of what these controversial rules were?
Well, both things, Charlene. So it was Mirror Now who took up this issue yesterday, and we had asked questions to a different section of voices, and there was a lot of criticism of SBI's circular. So what was this circular? This circular was specifically about employment of pregnant women, and the circular said, and I'm reading from the circular itself, that in case of pregnancy which is less than 3 months, the candidate will be considered as fit. However, if pregnancy is of more than 3 months, she will be considered temporarily unfit, and she may be allowed to join within 4 months after delivery of child. We had taken expert voices, a gynecologist, and they had said that it's just up to the woman, and there is no physiological evidence to support or be in support of any such circular. So today there was a uproar after our story. There were parliamentarians who wrote to SBI chairman and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, and SBI. What SBI has said is that SBI has withdrawn the proposal. It has always been proactive towards the care and empowerment of its women employees, who constitute 25% of their workforce. And during the COVID period, as per government instruction, pregnant women employees were exempted from attending office and allowed to work from home. However, in the view of public sentiments, SBI has decided to keep the revised instructions regarding recruitment of pregnant women candidates in abeyance and continue with the existing instructions in the matter. So clearly it is justifying how it was right in the first place. However, it has also made it clear that this anti-woman diktat of SBI is withdrawn with immediate effect.
Ketan, in fact, let me go across to Priyanka Chaturvedi, who's joining me right now. Priyanka Chaturvedi, Shiv Sena MP there. Priyanka, thank you so much for speaking to Mirror Now. Your first reaction, even you spoke up against this anti-women circular that barred pregnant women from being recruited at the SBI. Now the circular has been withdrawn. What's your reaction?
No, I welcome the withdrawal of the circular. However, the question does arise that on what basis was something as discriminatory as this published by the as part of the procedures and rules and promotions as part of the State Bank of India guidelines? What also amazes me is that pregnant women, in terms of recruitment, are still looked at as temporarily unfit for recruitment. What does that even mean? I mean, I can tell you, citing my own example, that as a working woman, before I got into politics, I carried my baby full term and I was working full term. How can you consider us as temporarily unfit? Is pregnancy not part of our biology? So I think this is another way of denying women their rightful space in workspace and having them in part of the labour participation force that we continue to speak about, which is falling. I have written a letter with regards to that to both the SBI chairman as well as Nirmala Sitharaman just today morning, saying that it was discriminatory. But this also needs to be probed, that how did it even find its mention in the guidelines in the first place?
That's right. In fact, we're also seeing this circular being withdrawn only after it faced massive backlash, from all quarters, be it the opposition or be it women rights activists. So how do you read this, that only after certain pressure and backlash that this circular has been withdrawn, which means without deliberation, the circular was in fact initiated in the first place?
Absolutely. How can something as discriminatory as this be published by State Bank of India as part of its guidelines? And what do they even mean? The entire intent of the letter also is to try and say that what we were doing was just clarifying various parameters. What clarification of parameters is this, where you're discriminating against a woman and women employees and recruitment of women employees? So I just want to understand this. One is withdrawal after pressure. And pressure has they've managed to withdraw it. But the point is, why did it find a place in find these guidelines be mentioned in the first place? And that needs to be probed. That who's framing such guidelines? And what message are we sending out to the country and to the working women and women who are also going the family way?
Right. So there you heard it, Priyanka Chaturvedi there, who has welcomed this move, but is still feels that this entire decision needs to be probed as to why the circular was issued in the first place. Because remember, the circular barred pregnant women from being recruited at the State Bank of India. For now, we leave it there. Thank you so much, Priyanka Chaturvedi, for speaking to Mirror Now.